Hey everybody, it's your boy here, recording for like the fifth or sixth time. I've recorded an original video about this subject, however I wasn't too happy with the quality of it, as well as the previous recordings of this video. Not too happy with those qualities either. Figured, hey, if I'm doing this, I might as well do it right. Okay, so first up, this video, as the title says, will be going over champions that I believe can get you out of silver or lower elo, specifically, help you climb and help you learn the game properly. If those aren't things that you're interested in, I don't know exactly why you're here, and I'm sorry. Um, Another thing to take into consideration is that the champions I place here, excluding maybe jungle for some of them, I believe can be played in any role at your elo. Meaning that just because I say put a support champion in, doesn't mean it can only be played as a support. It can also be played as a top, mid, an ADC even. It just, the champion in themselves will teach you how to properly play the game. Okay, there are 3 tiers, so we're going to start with the bottom, make our way up, starting with C tier. There's only one champion in C tier, mind you. But this champion I feel lacks something that a majority of the other champions on this list have, as I feel that this champion kind of will help you climb, but will take away the learning aspect. And that champion is Anivia. My reasoning for placing her here is as follows. She strips away the laning phase almost in its entirety and makes the enemy's laner's life hell. All of those sound great. However, the downsides for doing those kinds of things is that you yourself won't be able to learn how to lane or CS properly. So it'll inhibit you and essentially provide you a crutch, being her ultimate and the way she plays and things of the like. So that way you'll be able to climb without actually having to put on the mental burden of CSing properly and laning properly and poking appropriately, things of the like. But I mean, if you don't really care about that and you just want some free elo, by all means, play her to your heart's content. I am not clowning you for picking her. These are just my personal opinions, and if you do choose her, don't think lesser of yourself. It's fine. Okay, next up in B tier, we have the majority of the champions. There's only 3 others who deviate from B tier, ending up in A. And I'll go ahead and place those champions in B tier if you give me one moment. I will not be placing all champions on the tier, mind you. I'm just placing the ones who I feel like you should play in no consistent order, mind you. The ones that you should play to climb and improve your gameplay. I also will not be going in depth into all of these champions, mind you, just due to the fact that there's a lot of them, and I would like to keep this video relatively on the shorter side just because I don't want to bore you with things in the nature. However, you can check out my stream and I can go more in depth there. But until then, one of the first champions I'd like to, mention would be Ornn. Papa Ornn there, the bearded boy, Volibear's brother. Ornn has a surprising amount of damage built into his kit because of the max HP damage that he does with his W and then his auto passive, and he's a phenomenal team fighter. He is honestly everything you'd want from a frontline tank, and then more. And that more is he can be played fairly safely. I'm pretty sure his W still makes him unstoppable, similar to Malphite ulti, meaning that he can, go through like Cocoon and things of the like and continue moving, getting that little extra distance, which may not seem very important. Honestly, it can save your life. And I think one of the most impactful things about Ornn is that his passive is actually useful. There's a lot of champions in the game where their passive doesn't do an insane amount of things. For example, Fiddlesticks' passive is useful for things like his ulti, where he stands still for a couple seconds and then boom, he gets a burst of movement speed to run at you. However, Ornn's passive is useful in almost every scenario. For those of you who don't know, Ornn's passive upgrades his teammates' items. 1 item per person, excluding himself, who he gets 2 items. Of course, these are specific items, so only certain items can be upgraded. However, the ones that can be included of notable are Deathcap, Zhonya's, Bork, Frozen Gauntlet, Abyssal Mask, and Infinity Edge. upgrading those items will give your team insane amounts of gold for just you existing on your team. If you're ahead, it snowballs you even further. If you're behind, it it helps you catch up. If both teams have 6 items, your items are inherently better just as raw items. Are they better on the champions that you have on your team? Maybe, maybe not. That's specific cases, but case by case scenario. However, in that moment, Ornn is one of the best scaling champions in the game. Amazing, phenomenal. Cannot recommend him enough. Tom Kenchi boy, one of literally my personal favorite champion to play in the top lane right now. I adore him. He's very similar to Ornn. If you are, launching them up appropriately, you really can't die from a gank. Just at all. Maybe at like level 1 or 2, whenever, like an early jungle cheese. But besides that, he's exceptional. I love him. People underestimate the amount of damage that he does. Their fundamental awareness of him is severely lacking after, his short stint in the meta. He's kind of fallen off. People don't play him anymore. I've had multiple teammates flame me for picking him top lane. Ignore them completely. It is what it is. You just gotta accept it. Win the games. If you win the game, they can't flame you. Okay. For those of you, however, who are of a more aggressive, inclination, we have things along the lines of Zyra and MF, who are two sides of the same coin. If that coin was dummy thick, they do absurd amounts of damage for very little effort. One being AD, that being MF, and the other being AP, that being Zyra. However, I will mention, as a caveat, that Zyra requires a little bit more setup than MF in order to do maximum damage, whereas MF just really needs to press R in a corridor, in, say, the jungle, to deal insane amounts of damage and win team fights all of her own. Zyra requires you to have placed at least 1 to 2 plants. 2 plants is like great, 3 is perfect, and then summoning them are beautiful. You're set. However, if you play, like, say, a couple hundred games of Zyra, you'll be able to get that down pat easily. Find yourself in low gold at the bare minimum, if not higher. Okay. Now, for those of you who, have skipped to this part of the video, welcome to the creme de la creme, A tier. There are only 3 champions here, as mentioned before. The first being Malphite. Hold your applause, please. He's the demolisher of solo queue with only 1 ability. Build him full AP and you will see an immediate increase in your elo. Results may vary. Or build him tank if you don't like seeing a gray screen for similar effects without the jaw-dropping montage moments. Okay? Next up, we have Annie. I know. Okay. Oh, you just watch OS, so that's why. This video's a waste of time. Okay, look, I get it. Okay? You don't want to play a child who controls fire and was a cause, not the main, okay, potentially the main cause for the majority of her family's death. I won't go into depth about her here. You've heard about it enough, and if you haven't, and you want to know specific reasons as to why I say this champion is exceptionally good for people of your elo, exceptionally good, go watch some of his stuff at twitch.tv IMLS. That's I letter M letter LS. He is, I think, one of the foremost experts on Annie and bronzology as a whole. And if you go to him and ask him specifics about why Annie, he will gush about it. And for those of you who are looking to improve their Annie mechanics, they have been enlightened into the ways of the Queen. Well, you can go watch some mods by Cute Mal, a Korean Annie streamer. He's a very smart guy, knows what he's doing, works his way around the champion. Okay. The final champion is someone that I'm disgusted with, I've abused, I love, and I think is a prime example of what every other league champion should aspire to be. Soraka. I used to be a support player primarily, and I plan on going back to support primarily after I can get back into diamond and platinum with top lane, mid, and ADC. Primarily top because I suck at mid and ADC as just a player. My mental's weak. She's disgusting, and she's absolutely broken. I equate her to things like Tank Echo or other champions that were so rampant in the meta that they were immediate picker bans. I'm not talking about all this like weak shit nowadays. I'm talking about like fucking stacking like not okay, well, not stacking like 6 Sunfire capes. Okay, that is a bit much, but she is busted. She is, and I think that every other champion should try to Riot should buff champions to be at her level instead of nerfing her, which they will do at some point, which is exceptionally tragic. If you want reasons to why Soraka is busted, just play her. If you play her, you'll come to understand the reasonings yourself. She heals her teammates, shouldn't die most of the time, has great abilities and utility all around, has good damage, great ability to poke in lane. The list goes on. She's insane. If I was to rate a champion as of right now, just not in the list of like climbing and learning the game, if I was rated champion purely based off of their power level as of current, I would place her number 1 by a large amount. But hey, that's my opinion. If you liked the video, by all means, leave a like and subscribe. If you didn't, please come tell me what you didn't like about it. Maybe there's a champion that you thought, like, hey, should be in here. And we can have a discourse about it, a discussion, talk about it at my Twitch link, www.twitch.tv/Marshmallow Ruffian. That is Marshmallow Ruffian, MarshmallowRuffian. Links in the description. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.